Welcome back, everyone, to Silver Cosmo Movie Reviews.
Yes.
Yo.
It's your boy Big Don.
It's Mr. Brett.
And sailing the Silver Cosmos Brave New World, it's Captain Chris with a K.
And across the sea of movies, space, and stars are other suns. The vast movie reviews, we continue to give insight and review. This is your cosmonaut host, Carlos, in the house. We're going to talk about Captain America Brave New World. Before we dive in, let's go ahead and take a quick pause and thank our following sponsors.
Hey guys, why don't you check out She Barber Cuts Barbershop and give Markeisha Brown, the licensed professional barber there, a call at 316-218-3566 for all your haircut needs. She's got cuts for kids, adults, and for those looking for the good one, the deluxe with beard trims, wash, and hot towels. So don't forget to give Markeisha a call at She Barber Cuts and see her at 2319 North Ridge, Barber Suite 6A here in Wichita, Kansas.
Captain America Brave New World is starring
Anthony Mackie, Danny Ramirez, Shira Haas.
Carl Lumley, Shosha Requimore, and Giancarlo Esposito.
And Liv Tyler, Tim Blake Nelson, and Harrison Ford.
The movie is directed by Julius Ona. My Silver Cosmo movie knots, we have Countdown in. All right, we got lift off. Okay, our cosmonaut Chris would say, if you haven't seen the movie yet,
This is a spoiler alert!
all right, let's go ahead and dive into the plot. So I'm going to kick it off with you, Chris. Tell me a little bit about the plot about the movie.
Well, we kind of kick off. Sam Wilson's Falcon is now fully transitioned into Captain America. He's obviously been running that a little bit. We saw that happen in the series, and it kind of picks up maybe, a year or so after that's happened. Things have progressed. We have Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross is now stepping into a presidential role. You may remember him from some of the other previous movies. And that's kind of where we have Joaquin... What was his? Joaquin Torres. I was looking at the character's name there for a second, had me confused. Joaquin Torres is stepping into the Falcon role, and that's kind of where we start off with. Of course, there's something that's they're trying to track down. Good action, but they have to get to the root of the problem that's going on. So that's kind of where it starts at, and kind of goes from there. Yeah.
So, hey, Brett, tell me, what were they looking for?
But they were looking for a special package that they were looking for that was stolen by a person known as the Sidewinder.
Nice. What was in that package, Don?
Apparently, as the movie progressed, to come to find out it was, a portion of adamantium that countries around the world are fighting for, because they've always been trying to find a source that's going to give them the edge up over other countries of the world. First it was vibranium. Now the new substance that's be the most powerful is now adamantium.
And where did we find that adamantium, and what other references, Chris?
Well, you have the Celestial, Prime Celestial. You might remember from the Eternals, if you can remember that movie. Some of us may have blocked that one out in the timeline. But the Celestial Prime's used to create new planets, and it's kind of the husk that's come to surface. And now you have these warring, all the countries, as any natural resource comes about, the world starts fighting over it. And so they've started to find all these things, adamantium being the most valuable now that they've found. So you get that, a little political, actually a fair amount of political intrigue with the president and the other world leaders trying to negotiate treaties and work through things for this, to disperse properly or distribute properly the resource that's not actually land, without one country just claiming it over the other. And at the same time, Sam Wilson's trying to defend his friend, Isaiah Bradley, who was actually the first super soldier, as we found out. If anyone listened to our Vice podcast where we get into the comic books, we talked about Captain America and how this was the first not Captain America, but first super soldier, Isaiah Bradley.
And we will give him his respect. Follow us on Wichita Vice, and we will talk about him. But Don, that metal adamantium, who carries that?
Wolverine.
All right, so that's the setup for that. Now, Brett, leading on to you said it, the Sidewinder. Now, we know that this character it's for the comic book fans out there. We know already from the community, from the Wichita Vice community, we know that Sidewinder is actually a known villain, a part of the Serpent Society, and we know they were trying to dive that in this movie. I mean, did you think they gave him a fair share? Did they explain it quite well in the movie?
I kind of felt they kind of like hinted at it a little bit, but they didn't bring it into depth like that. I was hoping they would, and it kind of disappointed me because Giancarlo Esposito, any role that he plays, he knocks it out the park, and he did the best with what he had. And I think because of like time and budget restraints, they kind of had to cut a major part of it out of there.
And we'll dive into that in a little bit, so save it. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the characters and stuff. So let's kick it off starting off with Captain America, Sam Wilson. What were your thoughts, Chris?
I liked it. I thought it was a good transition from the series. I really enjoyed the series with him. I think Anthony Mackie's doing a great job with it. I like the storyline that they're doing with him. Again, spoiler alert, he's kind of setting up and, kind of go back to the plot that, like, what does Captain America represent now in the America we have? What does it mean probably for a black man to be Captain America? That was really more, I felt more hammered in the series than they did now, but they kind of went into it, especially with him and Isaiah Bradley's relationship, because of Bradley's, his past with the government being horrible to him. And then, so I like the way, I had no problem with Anthony Mackie's portrayal or this version of Captain America. I really liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was a very simple character. They didn't try to make him too complicated. I mean, even during his fight scenes, he was like more than just tough as nails, but he wasn't a super soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he said he wanted to set himself apart from Steve Rogers. He didn't want to, take the super soldier just to be another carbon copy of him. He just wanted to show that he can be Captain America and not have all the super strength and the speed as Steve Rogers did, but can still get the job done and have people aspire to,
And he's still, and I like that he's still dealing with those thoughts. Like even in this movie, he's still like, man.
I feel he's grown as a
Am I
character.
sure? Like, was
The
I?
way he's grown in this character, Chris and Don, was that when you watch The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the way he transitioned, I felt it did follow closely like the comic book, and I just realized it made him more human and more relatable in this character. So that's one of the things that I did appreciate about that movie, and I'll talk more about it later. But the fact is that this Captain America just set the tone for like, hey, however Marvel's going to go forward with this, we know he's already the leader. So he's already got leader capabilities there. So how about a little bit about Joaquin Torres' Falcon? What do you think, Don?
I don't know much about him, but he did kind of step into the role as the new Falcon. A little cocky, a little brass, and he's still on that learning curve, to try to, to take the role. And, throughout the movie, I felt he did a pretty good job with it.
Yeah, I felt, he did a pretty good job as well. Kind of like the comic relief in a way versus where Captain America Sam Wilson was the straight man out of both of them, but it was kind of like something fresh and something vibrant.
See if you agree or disagree, but I feel he had Blue Beetle vibe.
Yeah.
He reminded me of the Blue Beetle.
A little bit.
Not because he's Hispanic. I'm just throwing it out there.
right.
Just throwing it out there. Asterisks.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good fit too because it kind of harkens back to the original like Captain America Bucky days, like with the sidekick. I thought, and of course that they can both fly makes it kind of cool. Like makes him more sidekicky. Yep. He's still kind of got the young brash rush in a little too soon. And Bucky had that, like you go back and look at the original, he would always go in trying to save the day and Cap's like, no, oh, dang it, I got to go save his butt again. And, Mackie's doing the same thing. You're like, oh, I'm worried about him.
Ask Batman how that worked out for him when Joker got Robin. We'll leave that one alone.
Yeah, I think Sam Wilson, he can pop a top, man.
Let's do some due credit on the villain side. So let's kick it off with Sidewinder. So Brett, what'd you think about how Sidewinder was portrayed?
Like I said, Giancarlo Esposito. When I said earlier, every role I've ever seen him in, he knocks out the park. Chef's kiss, and he did the best of what he has. like, but the thing that disappointed me was he's supposed to have that cloak that made him disappear into other.
He didn't
throne.
disappear at all in this movie.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh yeah, he did when he got punched.
Yeah,
The crown or cloak or whatever,
Crown or
whichever, depending on the
They
version.
didn't show that.
they didn't show that.
I wonder if that may. I think that he's going to be coming back. I mean,
They has to because he
well,
just got
part of.
arrested.
I mean, there was a little, foreshadowing there when he's like, Alan Wood, yeah, I'll be escaping that sooner than you can. As soon as you stick me in there, I'll be out of that.
Either he's got a darn good lawyer or he made bail, one of the two. So tell me, Don, a little bit about the leader. How'd you like his character portrayal? I mean, he came back. How many years has it been? 15 plus years since they did the Incredible Hulk. Coming to, I mean, that's a big gap for him to come back, which we're awesome. Tim's a great actor. What'd you think about it?
They tried to bring him out, but in the comic books and cartoon series, to show the intelligence, he had a much larger head. They made his head here look like it was deformed, like just got a exposed
Bubbles.
brain basically. But
And he didn't have the lineup either.
no, he really did.
Got it over there from She Cuts Barber. No lineup, no nothing.
I mean, so I guess they did what the best they could with it. People always have their different ideas on how they want to portray their idea of what the character should look like. But he schemed, he showed his intelligence, like he would in, the cartoon series that I like to watch. I mostly see him in the Hulk and Agents of Smash. So, so he, it's like he created with his technology, the barriers and everything, couldn't barely touch him until they had to use raw power and some of their smarts to beat him. But he did show his intelligence here, and he had everything calculated out to a T, able to see all different probabilities and statistics. So that's where he had the edge up until he finally, but he still showed that with unpredictability, not all statistics don't always prove to be right.
And I really liked him, Blake Nelson. I've loved him ever since Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I thought he did a really well done job. I would have liked to see him use a little bit more of the tech, like get a little more techie, a little more offensively, like a little more action from his side. But maybe that's something. I mean, he's still around. He's in the raft. He could definitely be, and he's one of those like you have the anti-heroes. He's almost like an anti-villain, and he even has that one line where like, I am the hero, when after he kills the soldier dude.
You're such a hero.
with sound waves like that, and that that's a good use of his tech. But he never really. I mean, he used the one like deal that pounded Captain America when they were in the bunker. But aside from that, there wasn't much offense to him at all, or defense. Like he was just like, when he got caught, I was like, okay, I guess I got caught.
It goes back to what Don said in Agents of Smash, and even before that. I mean, when he was in the Iron Man cartoon series, his intelligence is just far beyond, and it's just one of those things that they just made him look kind of like, okay, I'm smarter than you, and you're just kind of just being weird. And then how are you going to show up at a military base? Wearing a hoodie and glasses, like, come on, guy. Like, I mean, he just looked like Prince just showed up over there. I'm like, come on, man, come on. That's just ridiculous. Okay, let's dive into another character that was getting the Red Hulk. So we can't ignore the elephant in the room. Yeah. How did you feel replacing the legend William Hurt? How did you feel Harrison Ford picking up that mantle, being the Red Hulk?
I thought it was excellent. It sucks though that they had to wait till toward the end of the film, for order to bring the Red Hulk out, because I felt they could have used him earlier in the film, like during the part where they were at the coast where they were going to go after the adamantium, and then
I thought for sure he was going to pop out,
because I thought they were going to do it then, and then they teased us there. And I was like, oh, really? And that's what kind of like, but his betrayal, I really liked it.
I thought he did okay. I mean, who doesn't love Harrison Ford? And honestly, how many 80-year-old action actors are still left out there to take the role? I thought William Hurt was a better Thunderbolt Ross. I thought Harrison Ford did okay. And there was just some weird, there was definitely some reshooting that happened that I think made some of the stuff feel a little disconjointed, a little odd. But yeah, I thought Harrison Ford was okay. And I assume he'll be back. He's in the raft too. and he seems to be wanting to try to be good. So I don't know. Maybe he'll wind up falling in with the Dark Avengers or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I also like this portrayal of it, but he did seem like a milder Thunderbolt Ross, but I guess maybe that kind of, played into what they wanted to portray in the movie. To change his
softer
ways, more, milder type, Thunderbolt. But, of course, we had to have another actor since, wasn't William died, so, of course, we had to change actors. So, but all in all, I still liked it. It could have been better. It could have brought out more of a role, but, of course, when you have him fighting against Captain America, Captain America really is not a match against the Hulk or any version of the Hulk.
Or any version of Captain America.
Yeah, so you can't make that battle strung out too long. And
I give credit to his agent, Harrison Ford's agent, because for him to get into a Marvel movie, the Red Hulk was portrayed with the computer generated, of course. That's fine. I can take that.
It looked fine.
Harrison Ford is I think it was just by name and just knowing that you're putting some heavy hitters in this movie. It paid off. I get it. I just feel that William Hurt, that was his role. That was his.
Yeah, he was. They nailed it with him.
It just seemed to me like Harrison Ford looked more grumpier because the Thunderbolt in the comic books, he's more of a brute, kind of a little bit more in shape. I'm not saying you're gonna have some 80-year-old out there like getting ripped, like shredded like lettuce. It's just that this character just didn't bring out that Thunderbolt like in the other characters.
I think maybe a J.K. Simmons would have done
taller, a J.K. Simmons, but taller.
Yeah, because he's not quite as tall. William Hurt's a little bigger. Maybe a Liam Neeson. I don't know. He's not rough enough though. I don't think he's
too. I don't know. That's too.
That's what I mean. Like, there's a limited supply of
that character is just
of what you need for that character in the acting world, especially someone that's experienced enough to be able to do.
What was that character?
A big budget.
What was
like
that character?
This.
He passed away too. The one that played in Ahsoka. He was the villain in Ahsoka.
Yeah, Ray Winston.
Ray
Stevenson. Sorry, Ray
he would have been a perfect Thunderbolt. A Thunderbolt.
Thaddeus, he could have done well with Thaddeus.
I keep wanting to call him Thunderbolt because that's
his nickname.
All right, well, you guys, let's go ahead and take a quick pause and thank our following sponsors.
With spring here and all the storms on their way, you need to make sure you have the proper home, auto, and all your properties insured. We here at Razor Cut Information just can't get enough of our favorite insurance man, Ernie Ruelas. Please visit Ernie and his State Farm agency at 11330 East Central Avenue, Suite 400, Wichita, Kansas, 316-682-2300. Thank you so much, Ernie.
All right, let's highlight the things that you did enjoy about the movie, Don. Tell me what did you like about it.
Pretty much the action. And, the story could have been better, but I still liked it. How it transitioned throughout the movie. Mm-hmm. But, just keeping up with the storyline, keeping Marvel, timeline going.
Yeah, so I have to agree too. The story was pretty good. They did the best with what they had. Really liked how they did how they did the CGI thing with the Red Hulk and what was it Sam Wilson's suit for Captain America just looked totally cool.
Yeah, I did like the new vibranium wings. Those were pretty stinking sweet. I liked a lot of it. I liked. We didn't really talk too much about her, but the assistant, the
short one.
Yeah, like she was a little fireball. Like that was pretty funny, and she had a mouth on her too. Like she wasn't taking anything, and she was throwing it out.
Just feisty.
Yeah, that was. So I really enjoyed that. I liked Tim Blake Nelson as the leader. I wish the thing about the Sidewinders deal, like you were saying, like there just wasn't enough of him. Like he needs to be a bigger part. Like if the next one he's in, he needs to be a bigger part of it. Like he obviously Esposito's a great actor, plays his characters well, and I think that's a character that he could do a lot with. So
if I'm gonna give him due justice, I would see if Disney and Marvel can do a deal where they can make it into a TV series and give the Sidewinder and Diamondback, because it was supposed to be played by Rose. What's her last? I can't remember her last name. She was gonna be Diamondback.
Rose McGowan?
No.
That
Anyways, she had her role. Everything was going, but they cut a lot of the scenes. And the thing is with
a pretty long
Sidewinder,
movie.
with Sidewinder, he was just in there. I mean, just brains, a little bit of, got a little assassin in him, and then that was it. That's kind of like, dude, okay, you served your purpose, but in the great scheme of things, you didn't really do much for me, and especially for a character and an actor of Giancarlo Esposito, dude, come on, man, you should have given him a little bit more justice than that. And then bringing back,
it could be coming.
yeah, and bringing back Tim as well, Tim Blake from the Incredible Hulk, that was awesome. The references from the Hulk. The Incredible Hulk movie, that was,
I liked,
and then to see Liv Tyler come back. Dad, I should have called you. Well, yeah, really, your dad almost got assassinated. I should have called you. You're a bad daughter. Bad daughter.
Call your dad if they almost get assassinated.
But indeed, what I enjoyed a lot too, and it wasn't even the Hulk scene. The scene that I enjoyed the most was that tension that boiled between the U.S. and Japan, when it kind of reminded me of a Battleship. Remember in Battleship, that movie Battleship, when they were firing against?
I kind of had a little Top Gun going on there with
They didn't go that far.
No, I said little.
Yeah, that's like putting habaneros. This is a little hot. No, that's too hot. No, but I felt that movie had a little bit of that Battleship thing going on. But indeed, the climatic scene, of course, was supposed to relate to Red Hulk and Captain America. But I just felt that Pacific scene, whatever it was, and just to being able to see Brett, the Celestial, that was awesome. Cool. The references to see the Celestial. Houston, we have a problem.
Houston, we have a problem.
This is our segment where we kind of have to talk a little bit what made it not cool, and so we want to be able to give an opportunity to see things to improve or the disappointing things that we had. Now remember, we enjoy the movies.
I see.
But this is just our version of saying, hey, we coulda, shoulda, maybe, but it is what it is. So Brad, I'm gonna kick it off with you. What are the things that you did not like about the movie?
The leader, and how they had the costume. Like, what was that thing on his head? Like, I mean, usually, they could have did better with the with his look and have it, make him more menacing. Except it looked like he just slapped something on his head.
Looked like he went to a barber shop that didn't clean utensils.
He got all the boils and bumps on his head. That just don't look right.
There's not too much I didn't like about it, but they could have been in more better detail of each of the villains and how they came about, just so that we can get a groundwork of where they come from, and even with the assistant to the president, come to find out she's a widow, so it's like, how did she end up becoming the president's and trusted sidekick?
Well, I'm glad you brought it up, Don. We will give her due justice on the next coming Vice shows. Just throwing it out there.
Nice. Well, I like Don. I didn't have a big problem with too much. Like, I enjoyed it for sure. I saw a couple of issues. There was some rough, probably due to the loss of William Hurt and some of the reshoots. There was some rough, like, ooh, those are some kind of bad cuts and like bad camera angle. Like, what was going on here, camera guys? Like, this doesn't look so. This isn't Disney quality here in a couple areas. And then there were a couple of just weird, like dialogue to me. Like it would just be like, well, you better not go do that. I'm gonna go do it. And that just cut in scene. Like okay, you know what I mean? Like, did we just have some? AI wasn't working for you guys. I don't know what's going on, but there was just some weird, just some small, and it wasn't throughout like steady. But there was just a couple of scenes that they were just like you couldn't figure out how to like transition like in the scene. Like it just was like bad lines at a few points.
I would say one of the complaints I'm going to have, and Brett and Don and Chris, see if you agree or not, it's whatever. Okay, when you see the movie and when you dissect it, you have your start off, your lead, and your climatic, and then the ending, right? In this movie, I felt Isaiah Bradley took 1/3 of that. His character was 1/3 of it. Okay, you're dealing with that. Then 2/3 of it, you're dealing with, oh, we got Sidewinder in the gang doing all this and that. Okay, we got to deal with that. Then you're dealing with the last half. You're dealing with world politics and then the Red Hulk. it felt like a lot of plots was going on, and it was kind of like in the blender. You put all this rich stuff in, you blended it up, and it came out like crap. Kind of innocent. And so you're trying to smooth that down. Now, who am I to judge? I'm not a director. I'm not a writer like that. But I mean, from what I'm seeing, what they could have done maybe, like you said, break it up. Start focusing on, okay, hey, we're gonna lead this movie up for all the characters. So if they would have done it in reverse, how they did like the Falcon and Winter Soldier, did maybe a Serpent Society show, do another show on the Israeli agent, because that's what she is.
Limited series.
And then also kind of do another lead for the upcoming Thunderbolt
you could do
Ross.
Joaquin. You could have done
Or
one
you
for
could have done the
Joaquin.
Falcon. I mean, so pretty much what I'm trying to get at is that there was just too many plots going on at once. And then also too,
You could have almost made like two movies out of this if you would have stretched out the storyline with the Serpent Society, and also could have seen the building of the relationship between the Falcon and Sam Wilson.
Yeah, a lot of plot holes though.
right, and look at it like this as well. I mean, of course, we already know about the reshoots. That was terrible. Also, another thing, I don't know if you guys noticed, but when Bucky Barnes came in, that was awesome. That was cool. I enjoyed it. But really, just so you can give him a pep talk to Captain America, hey, dude, you got to do you. Like, really? I kind of figured that part out already. And then you're moving off. That's okay. I'm all right with that. But one of my disappointing thing was that, like what Brett said prior, we didn't get an opportunity to know what was the total end game of Sidewinder in the gang. So hopefully that's something they can work on. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and take a quick pause and thank our following sponsors.
Well, I don't know about you folks, but here at Sports Fellas, things can get, well, a nice right funk going on sometimes. And in that time of need, we turn to our friend Kimberly Sampson, our own personal Cincy independent consultant. She is our favorite star consultant, so for your scent needs, get a hold of Kimberly at heavenlyscentswithkim@gmail.com or visit her website, heavenlyscentswithkim.cincy.us. You can also call her at 316-282-7363. That's Kimberly Sampson at Cincy, our favorite independent consultant.
Silver Cosmos Stars Aligning Review, brought to you by She Cuts Barber. Contact and book your hair at shebarbercuts.glossgenius.com. Definitely try the amazing The Deluxe.
So this is it, you guys. We're going to give out of 4 shields. You have 4. So I'm going to kick it off with you, Brett. How many shields do you give this movie?
I'm going to give it 3 shields. It was a good story. I liked where they were going with it. It's just a lot of plot. It was a lot of plot holes in there, and some of the parts, like I said, with the whole Sidewinder character, with Isaiah Bradley. Yeah, we know about him, but we didn't really know about him. And of course with other characters across the board too. Like we didn't really get to see Betty Ross as much, and then Red Hulk didn't get to see that to the end, which I wish they would have brought him earlier into the movie. But I'd give it 3 shields.
We'll give it 2.5 shields, not quite 3, because it felt like a story that was rushed a bit. Still good, but it could have been into better detail and better descriptive of the characters that were introduced. But you can tell where it was leading to, but they could have delved into it a little more, just to be better explanation on it.
I'm gonna go with my gut, which my original one was 3 stars. As we were kind of picking them, I was like, do I want to give it 3 stars? But I had a good time watching it, and I mean, what else is a movie other than to go have a good time? I do agree there was a lot of plot holes. There was a little bit of roughness, especially from what we've come to expect from a Disney Marvel movie. But it was a good time. The action was really fun, and you go to an action movie, you want to have good action, and it was CGI. I didn't see any CGI like we've seen in some DC stuff. Like it was all clean, really clean. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with 3. I'm gonna stick with my.
I was originally going to go 2.5, but some of the things like what they said was it was entertaining to see that we have a Marvel movie that didn't stunk like the prior one. I mean, if I had to compare, Madam Web is going to be the top of the stinky.
See,
So if I had to compare that,
Sony.
yeah, Craven, that one, Craven, and this one. This one I would say was better than Craven.
Those are
but
all
Craven
Sony,
was
right?
better than Madam Web. So this one here, with the characters, with the simple fact that we're finally getting these characters getting ready to get introduced into the next upcoming movie, which is I believe is Avengers Doomsday and possibly Thunderbolts going forward. I'm gonna give this 3 shields. Now, what I would say is to all the viewers, if you have not seen the original Captain America's, if you've not seen the Falcon and Winter Soldier,
Please watch the movie.
you might be, and a little bit of the Incredible Hulk. I highly suggest you guys watch those so you can kind of get an idea what's going on and going forward. But other than that, I mean, we're continuing in Phase 5, if I'm not mistaken, and it's getting ready to go into Phase 6. So, any final shout-outs before we go?
And shout out to all the fans out there listening, and we hope we helped you out and being here with the fellas.
Shout out to all the nerds, geeks, and everyone who enjoys these our movie reviews, and always, hi, Mom and Dad.
Shout out to all the friends and family out there, and to all the guys back behind the scenes doing the work. Thanks, guys.
Oh, of course, always, due credit to our friends Eric, Powell, Dalen, the gang that does our editing. Thank you guys so much for the hard work you guys do, and as well you guys for being here. I want to give a special shout out to one of the people, our attentive following listeners, Tom Badgerell. I want to say thank you so much for always tuning into our shows. It's always great to hear from you, so that goes much appreciated. And also to the gang there, Sierra, Christian, Daniel. I want to tell you guys thank you so much also for tuning into our show. And for all our listeners and friends and family, you guys, thank you so much that you guys make this worth doing. And like I said, we're just doing it from the bottom of our hearts. We love movies, we love comic books, and we love to just give reviews as well. So I just want to give you guys a quick notice that do not forget, we are going to do a big giveaway in May for the Thunderbolts, but you guys got to like and subscribe first. Smash that like button, subscribe, just show some love. In return of that, get your name into a drawing. We're going to do something nice for the Thunderbolts movie in May. Also, we're going to do a t-shirt giveaway and gift card to Barnes & Noble or Wizard Asylum. And for the out-of-towners, we're going to give a gift certificate to superherostuff.com. That's going to start from in May and Thunderbolts, and we're also going to do something big in July. And so you guys stay tuned on that. Until then, still follow us our shows, Wichita Vice, and then also upcoming Silver Cosmos. And don't forget, we will get back to sports, fellas. We will get back when we will talk about the NCAA tournament and the NBA and also Major League Baseball and hockey. Until then, we're out.